Okay, I'm out at Red Barn, and this is after our concrete work was done. Some things have popped up that we'd like to get addressed here. All right, so I'm going to start off with this upper area over here. We ended up getting a crack in the concrete right at this location. As you can see, it's about 12 inches there. So on something like that, I'm not sure what we would do there, if it's using Sikaflex or a different type of filler. But we do have that crack that's right there. We want to make sure it looks good and doesn't look wonky, or unprofessional. Then right here, from that corner to there, same thing. It's about 12 inches. Got another crack that ended up forming right there. We poured all this concrete too, by the way. We put it on the edge there. I know that we were going to try to go right up to the building as much as possible, which we did a pretty good job, and then we threw the extra mix in there as a filler. So if we could get that, that would be good. Take care of that. Over here, we ended up noticing a hairline crack that goes approximately from where this is. You can see the hairline crack, and then it goes all the way through. We're curious if it's going to get bigger. So, and it starts to travel over to this location, and it's kind of stopped right about in here. Okay. I noticed when it rained, water comes out of that pipe. It was collecting in this area, and then we had some cracking developing right there. So that's that. Another thing I wanted to mention too is, they put a bunch of gravel in here to fill on this transition. But one of the things that Eric had mentioned to them was when this was poured, that the guys were gonna, throw a little bit of rock down here to kind of help with the transition off the pad, because it made a pretty good sized drop. And they're gonna send me the photos, but our crew ended up not putting any gravel up against it for the transition, so it ended up making a pretty good sized drop off that concrete, and cars were hitting the edge of it as they were coming to the farmers market. Same thing down on this end. All this gravel, by the way, is not gravel we put in. It's stuff that John put in. So same thing down here. We had a pretty good sized drop. So on the edge of the concrete, people were hitting that pretty abruptly as they're coming up this hill. Reason why is because they were basically coming up and hitting the concrete there. So I don't know how much we ended up putting up to that, but it was a pretty abrupt change here. So they had mentioned that Eric said that we were gonna put gravel up to it, so at least you could transition up onto the concrete and not hit the edge, and that was not the case. We did not do that. Right here, we still left chunks of concrete, and the idea was that we were going to take out the concrete pad that was right here and then dispose of the concrete chunks that were in here as well. You can see there's big river rock that's in here, and that's not our responsibility, but the other smaller stuff probably should have been raked up and taken out, and that was not done either. Okay. What else? So that was kind of the situation right there. Really, just we weren't asked to restore this area, but we should have taken out the concrete. So we've got some concrete here that we should be raking up and taking out of here. Okay. I think that's it. Oh, last thing too was we had concrete up in the beds here. You can see the strip here of concrete that either got shot out accidentally. I don't know if this was from the mix truck when we were pouring or what, but we ended up getting a bunch of concrete mixture in here on the plants. And then over here, same thing. There was like chunks inside the flower beds here. So I'm not sure why that was the case, why that happened, but you could see it just kind of, something shot right over this. I don't know if it was the chute and it was aimed over the box here or what, but that was concerning as well. I think most of the stuff's been taken out now. But yeah, there was just some things workmanship wise that were left that really, you know, really don't speak to what we normally do when leaving a project. So we kind of left it a little unfinished, you know, with the transition here, over there, the extra rock that's sitting over there, the stuff that's in the flower beds. And then of course these cracks are just something that naturally happens after you know, concrete dries. Occasionally happens. So we need to come up with a quick game plan to get those 2 cracks dealt with, and then this long one right here, and then finally taking out those last bits of concrete material.